Hello Flat Earth believers, this is Darryl E Berry Jr. back on my 7th Flat Earth Challenge. My 6th Flat Earth Challenge addressed several different points brought forth by several different Flat Earth believers, mostly dealing with sunsets and solar eclipses. Here's the link here and in the description. This 7th Flat Earth Challenge has to do with lunar eclipses by suggestion of a viewer named Manuel. He said, "Now try explain the lunar eclipse. It's what Flat Earthers are very scared to do." Well, here we go, and right on time as there is a lunar eclipse this very week. Let's first go to timeanddate.com. They have a page about lunar eclipses. It says, "A total lunar eclipse takes place when the Earth comes between the Sun and the Moon and covers the Moon with its shadow. When this happens, the Moon can turn red, earning it the nickname of Blood Moon." They share a link when you can watch the lunar eclipse live, as there is one this week. And the site continues, "Total eclipses of the moon happen at full moon when the sun, earth, and moon are aligned to form a line. The astronomical term for this type of alignment is syzygy, whatever how you pronounce that, which comes from the Greek word for being paired together. The moon does not have its own light, but shines because its surface reflects the sun's rays. During a total lunar eclipse, the Earth comes between the sun and the moon and blocks any direct sunlight from reaching the moon. The sun casts the Earth's shadow on the moon's surface." It continues, "Total lunar eclipses happen only when the sun, earth, and moon are in a straight line and there is a full moon." They also tell us that we don't see a lunar eclipse every full moon because the plane of the moon's orbital path around the Earth is inclined at an angle of 5 degrees to Earth's orbital plane around the sun, also known as the ecliptic. The points where the two orbital planes meet are called lunar nodes. Lunar eclipses occur when a full moon happens near a lunar node. Even though Earth blocks sunlight from directly reaching the surface of the moon during a total lunar eclipse, the moon is still visible to the naked eye. This is because Earth's atmosphere bends sunlight and indirectly lights up the moon's surface. When the sunlight passes through the Earth's atmosphere, it gets refracted towards the Earth's surface, and part of it, the colors with shorter wavelengths, gets scattered and filtered out, while the rest, colors with longer wavelengths like orange and red, passes through the atmosphere. This light is once again refracted towards the surface of the fully eclipsed moon, thus illuminating it in a reddish-orange glow. Because of this, a lunar eclipse is sometimes colloquially called a blood moon. Later, they list the next 5 upcoming lunar eclipses with locations. You can click into the link for precise times and locations. We can see there will be a lunar eclipse on the 27th to 28th of July in 2018, the 20th to 21st of January in 2019, the 26th of May 2021, the 15th to the 16th of May 2022, and the 8th of November of 2022. And beyond that, precise eclipse predictions for every type of eclipse are posted for the next 2 centuries. My challenge to Flat Earth believers is quite simple, but I know it's impossible for you to do, but I'm open to you proving me wrong. According to you, of course, all of this is wrong. You see the Earth is flat and stationary, with the sun and moon above it in some fashion. Thus, it is impossible for the Earth to cast its shadow upon the moon from the sun. I've heard Flat Earth believers say that the sun and moon are moving around above the Earth. Some say they are holograms or electromagnetic unsolid things. Some say they are somehow outside of some quote dome and are projecting light into the dome that seems to be the sun to us. As I read in one Flat Earth comment to one of my challenges, you don't have one set understanding. And when I point out how silly any given one is, you say, "Oh, we don't believe that. No real Flat Earther believes that. Oh, that other camp believes that. That's not us," or whatever. But one thing is certain all across the board. What was said earlier as the cause of lunar eclipses can't be what's happening in any Flat Earth system. So, rather than point out how silly all the things you all say is when factoring in lunar eclipses, why don't you simply tell us what is really going on during lunar eclipses? You tell us what your supposedly righter and correct and quote woke knowledge and perspective what really causes lunar eclipses, and tell us exactly how you learned and know this. 2. Since the sun can't be shining on an earth revolving around it and casting the earth's shadow upon the moon, where is the sun and the moon really during lunar eclipses? As the illustration shows, we know the sun to be on one side, the moon to be on the other side, and the earth to be in the middle. According to you, this must be wrong and must be impossible. So, during lunar eclipses, tell us exactly where the sun, the earth, and the moon really are. And finally, 3. Using your quote superior flat earth knowledge, predict for us when the next 10 years of lunar eclipses will be. Again, using only your flat earth knowledge, and show us how you do it using only your flat earth understanding. If your knowledge is truer and better and more accurate to reality, not only should you be able to predict every lunar eclipse for the next 10 years, you should be able to do it for the next 2 centuries, like timeanddate.com, and even longer. And you should be able to do so more accurately and more precisely. Otherwise, how is your knowledge better? We know eclipses happen. We see them, we film them. You do or can see them as well. Some are predicted here on this site. You can see them if they are in your area, or you can go to where they are. You can see live video, and if you think it's a lie or some kind of deception, you can see if you can find a flat earth believer in the area to live stream it for you. I saw the solar eclipse as predicted last year, so I found their predictions to be accurate, and these occurrences to be real. So you predict them better with your superior knowledge. So that's it. Tell us what is really happening during lunar eclipses and how you know this. Tell us where the sun, moon, and earth really are during lunar eclipses, and predict the next 10 years of lunar eclipses more accurately and more precisely, and show us exactly how you do this using only your quote superior flat earth knowledge. It's simple. The people you say are liars and frauds and wrong and so forth have explained what lunar eclipses are and predict them with precision centuries into the future. And everything we see and experience matches this. Your explanation so far? Nothing. Your predictions so far? None. What you say matching reality? Never. So here's your chance. It's not even necessary to prove the silliness of your arguments and position. Each time one is proven wrong, you just pick a different silliness anyway. It's enough to show that you have nothing to offer in the way of astronomy, that your position is baseless. Care to prove me wrong?